I'm going to tell you a little story about a man who chose faith. A man had worked the same job for 20 years. It paid the bills, but every Sunday night, his chest felt tight and his spirit felt heavy for years. He had a quiet tug on his heart. You're meant to build something that serves people, not just clock in and clock out. He pushed it down because it sounded irresponsible. He had kids, a mortgage, and a reputation as the dependable one. One night after another long shift and a long drive home, he sat in his car in the driveway and he didn't get out. He just sat there in the dark, hands on the steering wheels, and finally prayed a raw prayer instead of a polished one. God, if this desire to coach and speak is from you, I'm scared, but I'm tired of being safe and miserable. Show me the next step, and I'll say yes. Nothing magical happened that night. No angel, no booming voice. But the next morning, his fear was mixed with a strange peace. He didn't feel released to quit his job on the spot or nothing like that. What he sensed instead was, be faithful with the next small step. So he made one uncomfortable decision. He told one trusted friend at church, I think God is calling me to help people through speaking into their lives and build a coaching business. I don't know how, but I know I have to start. Saying it out loud felt like stepping off a cliff. That week an opportunity popped up that he would have normally ignored. A small local event needed someone to share a 10-minute encouragement. His friend said, you should do it. His first reaction was to run out. I'm not ready. I don't have a website. I'm not an expert. But he remembered his prayer in the car. He realized faith rarely feels like confidence at first. It feels like trembling obedience. So he said yes. He prepared a simple message about purpose, discipline, and not wasting the gift God's put in you. The night of the event, his hands shook so much he almost dropped his notes. But as he spoke, he saw heads nodding, eyes tearing up, and people leaning in. Afterwards, 3 people came up to him and said almost the same exact thing, just in different ways. You described my life. I needed that. One woman asked, do you coach people? I'd like to talk. In that moment, he realized his crazy ideal wasn't just about him. It was the answer to someone else's prayer. He didn't become a full-time coach overnight. Stepping out on faith for him looked like this. Waking up an hour early before work to write, and plan content and to study. Using his lunch breaks to record short videos on his phone instead of scrolling. Saying no to some comfortable routine so he could build something new. Tithing and saving, trusting that God would stretch his obedience farther than his income. Every small yes built a little more courage. A year later, he had a modest but real coaching roster, a small YouTube and podcast audience, and a reputation as the guy who helps you get unstuck. He was still working his job, but now it was a bridge, not a prison. The crazy ideal was now a growing assignment. The real turning point came when his company announced layoffs. Everyone panicked. He felt the fear. Yeah, he felt the fear too. But he also sensed the invitation. Do you trust what I've already been building in you? When his name was on the list, he cried in the parking lot. But this time, the tears was mixed with relief. He had been preparing in faith when there was no pressure. Now the pressure had come, and he wasn't empty-handed. Stepping out on faith didn't mean he wasn't afraid. It meant he chose to move while afraid, trusting that God was already in the future. Understand? He still had to, send some emails, learn marketing, handle rejection, be a good steward of his money. But every time doubt screamed, he could look back at that night in the driveway, the first 10-minute talk, and the faces of people who were helped, and say, this isn't just my dream. This is my assignment. If you want to step out on faith, you don't have to start by quitting everything. Start the way he did. Pray a real honest prayer about what's in your heart. Tell one of your friends what you believe God is willing to do for you. Say yes to the next small, scary opportunity that lines up with your calling. Faith is not waiting until you feel ready. Faith is deciding, God, if you're in this, I'd rather walk with you in uncertainty than stay comfortable without you. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? There's something you want. I know there is. There's something you want to do. But for some reason, you're not trusting God. It's Sunday. You're probably at church or just coming home from church. I know you believe Jesus. I'm sorry, I know you believe in Jesus, but do you actually believe Jesus? What did the word tell us? All things are possible to those who believe. I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. Do you believe that? Because if you believe that, then whatever it is you want to do, you'll start trying to do it. Look, I'm telling you, I believe that I was called to serve people, to help people, to coach people through their circumstances that they're going through, their situations that they're going through. Now, I'll make this clear. I believe I can coach people through their situations that I've been through. Everything that happened to us happened for a reason. Most of the time, it's for somebody else. And you have to understand that. I can't control what happens to me, but I can control how I respond. And I respond by looking at whatever it was that happened to me and seeing what can I learn from it. And then trying to prepare myself to be able to teach someone else how to get through it. That's how I look at it. That's my attitude. You guys know the 5 elements of a successful life: purpose, vision, attitude, discipline, and decision. The story I just told you was a guy making a decision. And then he had the right attitude. And he disciplined himself to do what was done. So he had a clear vision which led him directly to his purpose. What is it that you want to do? And why aren't you doing it? Ask yourself that again. What is it that I want to do, and why am I not doing it? I'm your boy Ward,